And that way to dull the background noise. Norbert, I think we're all set.
Is it possible to have them identify themselves? Or you did?
Is there anybody on the call right now?
Yes, Bernice.
Hi, Bernice. Hello, Maya. Cynthia Ortiz. Lucas, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, that's it. So again, if you guys don't mind putting yourselves on mute, we'll go ahead and get started.
I hereby call this meeting to order of the Salto del Agua Association. It is 6:08 on Thursday, April 26th. The first order of business is roll call of the board. We do have a full board. Present are Horacio Trujillo, Arnold Quintana, Herminio Martinez, Moises Martinez, and Norbert Mondragon. Approval of the agenda.
President, I would like to make a suggestion that an item be added to the agenda before it's approved. Add comments from the members.
I think the comments can come in later on,
Well, we can add it to the agenda.
That they be added at the beginning.
Right now, what we're having is just a board meeting for right now.
Yeah.
Because if after the board meeting, then it could be open to comments.
Okay, Moises, the thing is that some people leave,
Well,
and, you know, that
we're all
way
here,
everybody
well,
can hear, you know.
well, but the thing is that we're all here for the duration, I think, right? That's what we're all here for one reason.
And also we need to, just as a point of order, I mean, again, this is a board meeting, and so discussion from the members can happen, but the meeting is actually of the board, and so even kind of these points cannot necessarily, we need to be careful in raising them. There's a lot of business we need to get through, and so we'll try and get through it as expeditiously as possible, and then there is a section for new business, and we can get to comments there. What has happened previously in other meetings is that we've had comments beforehand which have taken up the entire meeting and we don't get to any business.
And that's okay, we can be here for 2-3 hours, I don't care, but it can be open to discussion, okay? And I'm
Okay,
open to that,
alright.
if that's okay with the rest of the board.
So hopefully that
And
addresses.
there's also plenty of space in the actual different items where there can be questions or points that are brought up as we cover different things.
I just wanted 5 minutes of everybody's attention.
That's okay, we can all have our
Yeah.
turn.
But I wanted everybody to hear, I don't want anybody having to walk out. I want everybody to hear what I have to say.
We'll get to you. So approval of the agenda.
Listen, Norbert, one of the things that I would like to amend, move to amend the agenda to include the payments for Bolivar Quintana and Torres.
I believe that's in here.
Those will be under pending
I
expenses.
didn't see that,
Those can be brought up under
I-
pending expenses. Point of order, those can be brought up under pending expenses.
I'll bring it up under pending expenses. And the treasurer and I have already discussed the amounts. So if nobody else has anything, we are moving on to approve the agenda. Has everybody looked at the agenda and with the exceptions noted, have any other comments? Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion, second, all in favor? All opposed?
I,
Aye.
Okay, approval of minutes.
Point of order, you approve not to approve it, as opposed?
It's approved.
no, it's not.
No, you said aye.
No, I
Second.
said, no, I said, I don't vote for
Okay.
the approval of the.
For clarification, we have 4 ayes and 1 nay, is that correct?
I don't know, I didn't hear that. That's not what I heard.
I'm trying to clarify it.
Yeah, no, but there's only one, probably. The only thing is that you guys need to do, is follow the stipulated agreement that all 5 of us signed. You know, we don't want for anybody to mislead, anyone. So we have to follow what's in this document. And if you follow this, the rest of the, folks will understand what's going on. Right now, they're in the dark. What they need is to provide them a copy of this, so that's a one time ago. You're the secretary, should have done it.
The
It
the
was
document has
provided.
been provided since it was signed.
I don't know how many people received it.
Yeah, everybody that,
I don't know who did.
Arminio, would you just explain a little bit the foreground of what that document is?
Remember, point of order, we need to move on with the business of the.
We do. So at this point, what we have is, 4 in favor and 1 opposed to the approval of the agenda.
If we don't get approval of the agenda, we can't have a meeting.
That's right. Now we're following the stipulation. Very good.
Yes.
Very
So
well.
we can
Adjourn the meeting.
adjourn.
And discuss.
I move that we adjourn.
This is, Edminio is voting against approval of the agenda. Sure thing.
So if we are not going to have a meeting,
You can have discussion.
do you have a reason for voting against it, Erminia?
A host of reasons. Number one, we need, as you are fully aware, Norbert, Horacio Moises and Arnold, that there was a stipulated agreement that was signed by all of us and by the attorneys and by the mediator that were involved.
Can I read it? I have it here.
He's holding his hand, one moment.
Okay.
Let him
Talking about the
finish,
agreement.
he's talking. Go ahead.
And, for any business that's going to transpire, you're gonna need unanimous vote, all 5 of us. And that's, I just voted against the agenda simply because these are all, what Horacio drafted here are all premature. I think, any of these attorneys have to go through a membership that's gonna be held to the 30th.
Edminio, are you
Hold on,
bringing up,
hold
no,
on.
no, no, are you bringing up an issue? Cause those are attorneys that have just been listed. You're not, there's no point in,
But
Identify this.
why address it now? That's when the membership will have the opportunity to select, what they need, Horacio, is a
there's no
legal,
recommendation here, Edminio. You're misrepresenting the information.
well,
All we are reporting here is the attorneys that have been presented, recommended to us
are they
by
gonna be
Jackie
discussions
Cooke.
or action items?
It's not a discussion or an action item,
Well, I don't know where you have it on the agenda.
because we are disclosing it to the membership.
But that should have been for the annual membership that people that have their.
Well, that's for the annual membership. Is it
What this
possible to-
does is give the membership time to consider these potential, attorneys to manage the declaratory judgment. I thought that was the reason for this disclosure, just to let everybody know who's out there.
Okay.
We
well,
weren't actually gonna select one
And I'm not
tonight.
sure that, well, okay, go ahead and.
And I'm fine with that, and I wanna hear what you have to say, but you said that you had a host of reasons, I'd like to hear them.
Well, there's other attorneys that, what we need is a list of attorneys that would
Which we
file.
have, and it's on the
Point
agenda.
of order, we are moving to an agenda item when we have to approve
Right.
the agenda to action.
And
item
just for
business.
clarification, Erminio, it says specifically, after the ones that it mentions, other Taos attorneys identified by the board,
I didn't see that.
which I listed Ben Ortega and Nadelson, and you're welcome to introduce them as well. And so, again, what we're trying to do is give the membership, a little head start on how they feel about these particular
And maybe,
candidates.
maybe Arminio hasn't had time to look at the agenda completely, so if you need a few minutes to look at the whole agenda, because
And
what you
Norbert,
just mentioned there, just maybe you need to review it before.
And maybe if you wanna give them an overview, Norbert, of what's here, because we won't have an official meeting, since, we have to, there's gotta be unanimous, give them an overview to, what's taking place. And then we can adjourn.
Well, that would basically be me reading off the
Yeah,
agenda,
Yeah,
and I'm happy to do that.
Wait, so I have a point of order. Edminio, are you opposed to approving the agenda?
this is probably the 3rd time, Horacio.
You're
Of
opposed to
course,
approving the
I'm
agenda?
gonna write me down that I'm opposed to the agenda,
Okay.
that we're not having an official meeting, it's on way valid. Thank you.
So then go to public comment.
Well,
Yeah.
That's it?
Go to public comment.
Yep.
And let us express our feelings about this.
There you go.
Right.
Okay, so there's no financial report, there's nothing,
No, you can give something, you can give information, but it's not official,
well, what's the use?
because you're,
Okay, can I,
because you're
can I
on
speak since it's
Okay,
public
wait up.
comment? Can I speak?
Okay, Norbert? go
well,
ahead.
at this point, we need a
It's an
motion
open
to
meeting.
adjourn.
So I move that we adjourn.
Do I have a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
but it's not gonna go anywhere because the document tells you that you've got to move forward,
We understand that, Joe.
but the rest of the people don't. They need to
For,
understand
for,
that.
for clarification.
And so as a point of order as well, the stipulated agreement identifies that we're all supposed to act in a business-like manner.
That's right.
Opposing an agenda is
Or
not
not
a
voting,
opposing an agenda is not a business-like manner.
Of course it is, Horacio.
No, it's not.
It's part of the business.
Not yet. Not yet.
No, not yet.
Stipulated agreement in a mediation overrides the rules and regulations that govern the body of the association. How can the dog, well, wag the tail? How can the tail wag the dog? How is one member allowed not to allow the business association?
Okay, we need to, again, thank you, we, at this point, we need to clarify that the board is discussing this and we're trying to clarify this.
But that was
So,
part of the mediation agreement.
As a point of order, the stipulated agreement identifies that we should act in a business-like manner, which consists of actually holding regular business meetings, so that the board can operate as a board. Opposition to approving an agenda without a particular stated reason is not acting in a business-like manner.
That's your one opinion.
I understand that, but
I'm sorry, from the phone, we are not taking opinions. We're not.
right now,
So just for, I think it's important for the record that we identify, we are not having a meeting because Nino is opposing having a meeting.
Because the board is in disagreement. That's the reason, not, don't point.
No,
The board is not in
The board is not in
disagreement.
disagreement. 4 members are in agreement. And Nino is
So
using.
this is the problem. You
No,
guys,
Joe, you don't get to speak, right? This is a board meeting.
that's right, but I'm a member.
No, but right now, we're still in a board meeting,
That's right.
okay?
Then who are you talking to? You talk to them, why are you talking to us?
We can speak to
You're
you.
speaking out of turn.
We can speak to
Why
you.
don't you let Estella read?
There you go.
Stipulated agreement.
And Nino, why don't you let me clarify?
Well,
Well, let her read
Hey,
it.
Can
Don't
you
clarify.
can
Read
you
it.
finish? Can
So, Stella,
Rasta
just
finish?
for
Yeah.
clarification, did you want 5 minutes to read the stipulated
Well,
agreement?
I want 5 minutes to address, but I wanted to address, and I can also read the resolution to the injunction. But I'm going to say what I wanted to say first. Today I received, many of us received a letter from our personal attorney that Herminio has actually moved to represent El Salto del Agua declaratory judgment by district court on his own. Well, what I needed to say was that this is a big conflict of interest because first of all, Herminio went off and appointed his own board in June. Everybody knows about this. And then who ended up having to pay the legal costs? The association and plus Herminio's attorney, Ale Maestas. So this is one of the biggest conflict of interest that there is. Is this what the members want, Herminio to lead us in this declaratory judgment? I don't think so because Herminio has his side and we can't do it that way.
I don't think that's.
Oh, do you want me to read the stipulation now?
Go ahead.
Yes.
I guess I don't have to stand up, I think I'm loud enough, right?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, great. Okay, corrected stipulated order by dismissal with prejudice. The court having determined that a stipulation for dismissal has been entered into by all parties hereto as attested to below by the signature of their attorneys, Joseph E. Caldwell for the plaintiff and counterclaim defendants and Alan Maestas for the defendants, and that a previous order provided to the court for filing inadvertently did not attach the exhibit 1 referred to in the order. This order is entered in order to provide the attached exhibit. In all other respects, this order is the same as that previously filed and the court otherwise being fully advised. Hereby finds that, number 1, the parties have through mediation reached a complete settlement of the contested issues in this case. In a settlement agreement entered into on November 18, 2017, attached hereto and by reference incorporated fully herein. Number 2, that pursuant to the agreement, all contested issues between the parties in this lawsuit are to be dismissed with prejudice. Wherefore, it is hereby ordered that number 1, the mediated agreement set forth in Exhibit 1 is incorporated herein as part of this order of dismissal as if fully set forth. Number 2, except for any post-dismissal relief that may be required to enforce the terms of the agreement, all contested claims and counterclaims between the parties are hereby dismissed with prejudice. Okay? The compromise and settlement agreement. This is what you wanted to hear. Number 1, this agreement is intended to bind all parties from the date of execution under Rule 1 of the TRCP and Rule 441A of the Federal RCP as is applicable and under general contract law. The parties contemplate the preparation of further documents in carrying out the performance of this agreement. The terms, conditions, and representatives herein shall control the terms, conditions, and representatives of further documents. This agreement shall not be construed or unenforceable because the parties may seek to prepare further documents. This agreement is intended to be fully enforceable on its own terms. If the parties are not able to agree on the construction, terms, or conditions in future documents, then this agreement is the agreement between the parties. 2017 Board of Directors, okay? Arno Quintana, Herminio Martinez, Horacio Trujillo, Moises Martinez, and Norbert Mondragon. All of the Board of Directors shall sign the Code of Conduct and conflict of interest forms provided by the corporate attorney. All Board of Directors agree to cooperate in a normal, business-like manner in conducting the affairs of the corporation. All parties agree that the 2010 bylaws are the bylaws of the corporation. The corporation, before the end of 2017, shall retain the services of an outside independent bookkeeper or other qualified financial service provider to create and keep appropriate financial records and books for corporation for a reasonable fee. All parties involved in this matter shall deliver to such financial provider all data, all funds, and the location of any funds belonging to the corporation for the years 2015-2017. Location of any funds belonging to the corporation for the years 2000, okay. All parties shall cooperate in the declaratory judgment action involving the shareholders of the corporation, but the Board of Directors shall maintain a neutral position concerning the same. No limitation herein hinder the actions of individuals. Number 9, any special meeting or annual meeting of the shareholders or the board meeting during term of this board may only be called with authority of the majority of the Board of Directors, and no veto vote provided below may be used to prevent same. Number 10, in the upcoming annual meeting in June 2010, this agreement in no way hinders the rights of any shareholder. Number 11, until the new board is elected, all actions of the current board shall be unanimous, subject to the directions of shareholder vote at a duly called special shareholders meeting from time to time. Number 12, any member with an uncontested share is entitled to 1 vote per share. Any member with a contested share or shares is entitled to 1 vote and only 1 vote and not 1 vote per share. Any person contesting that share or shares with appropriate documentation is also entitled to 1 vote and only 1 vote and not 1 vote per share. Number 13, a letter addressed to whom it may concern shall be signed by the Chairman President Norbert Mondragon and Herminio Martinez, stating that the parties have compromised the difference and that Norbert Mondragon is Chairman President. Number 14, all monies paid or other consideration given herein is without admission of liability. Number 15, each party hereby releases the other party from all claims asserted in this lawsuit or that could have been asserted in this lawsuit, known or unknown, for and in consideration of this compromise and settlement, except as provided herein. The release includes, as is applicable, shareholders, partners, members, subsidiaries, affiliates, agents, employees, officers, directors, insurers, heirs, assigns, and legal representatives. The lawsuit will be dismissed with prejudice. This release shall be binding on the successors, heirs, assigns, and attorneys of releasing party. Number 16, Attorney Joseph Caldwell shall prepare the usual forms of compromise and settlement agreement, releases, motions, and orders of dismissals with prejudice or judgment, which shall be consistent with the terms hereof. The parties shall properly agree upon any document used to effectuate this agreement. 17, taxable court and attorney fees are to be paid by the Salto del Agua Association and Corporation. Number 18, closing shall occur on or before 5 p.m. on December 15, 2017. Time is of the essence as to all rights and obligations under this agreement. Closing is the event at which executed documents and funds are actually exchanged to complete this agreement. If the parties are unable to agree on the location of the closing, then it shall be at the law offices of the attorney who is preparing the documents as said above. Number 19, each participant should have the settlement agreement independently reviewed by the participant counsel before executing the agreement. The parties hereby execute the agreement on November 18, 2017. The signing parties represent and warrant that they have the authority to sign this agreement and that the parties on whose behalf they have signed are bound by this agreement. And all of you signed this agreement.
Okay, with that said, I would like to make a couple of comments myself. Number 10 does mention that a veto vote cannot be used to prevent the business of the association from happening, and this could be construed as a veto vote keeping this meeting from going forward. I mean,
Of shareholders.
I am board. So I want to mention that in that regard. In addressing your first comments, Stella, we had no knowledge of the entry of appearance by Arminio until we received the same letter. This was not approved by the board, and I want to state that for the record. This, I don't know what explanation Arminio
Can I
might have
give
for
an
us.
explanation?
If you would like to,
Sure,
we'd love to hear it.
Of course, I think, based on this stipulation agreement that with the, when McCarthy withdrew as attorney for the association, we had a time limit, a period of, I believe it was 20 days.
That was 30.
Hold on, was it 20 days?
Well, no, just to correct it, just for the record.
Was it 20 or 30 days?
30.
Okay, was it 30 days? Then, and there was an attorney had to enter his or her appearance at that point to represent in Salto del Agua Association. And it was requested that we be approved by the membership. If we wouldn't have entered my appearance on behalf of the association, I do have some authority because I submitted my documentation. Well, actually, it's not the judge. They accepted it and it's fine. So at least we covered the association from going into receivership, which was probably Horacio's agenda. So.
Let me just put that in.
I haven't.
You can't
Right,
make that
right,
up.
but it's my agenda to put the association in receivership. I wanna understand that that's what you're saying.
That was your intent initially, it seemed, because you were wasting money. You
No,
said
I-
some thousand
Okay,
bucks that you
let's-
were not affording.
Norbert, let me
I'd
just
like to
clarify.
get through this explanation without making any further
No,
accusations.
Norbert, let me just clarify. I just wanna clarify, Emilio. You were suggesting in front of all of these people that my intention was to put the association in receivership.
I'm stating again that it was pretty obvious, the monies that you spent without membership association, that was almost $60-some thousand.
So now,
I
wait.
firmly believe that that was the intent, simply
Let me-
because,
Norbert, this is
hold on,
Norbert. Yeah.
I haven't seen a thread of evidence that you are a legal member. There's 6 siblings from Luis, okay? You are one half of Dolores, and you have one half of 1/6 of 175th. So I haven't seen a legal document representing the 6 siblings of Luis.
Let me
And
clarify.
hold on, and one of the members, indicated to me that you don't have his authority to express your thoughts or decisions for him.
Let me
And
clarify.
there might be another one.
Let me clarify,
Okay.
Emilio. So you're also suggesting that I am responsible for misspending $60,000 of the association money.
You and some other individuals that, are there.
Can you name the other individuals?
Of course,
Sure,
of course.
please.
I think you pretty, much know that, who signed on that, checks that, was it you, your mom, yourself, and Cindy?
I've signed no checks.
With your mom did, I think, right?
She was the treasurer. But are you suggesting?
So-
are you-
so-
let me clarify, are you suggesting that Dolores?
Wait,
no,
okay,
Moises.
so I'm the treasurer, no.
No, Moises, please,
no.
let me just
Let me
correct- let me just
clarify
get this
this
to
real quick.
clarify.
This is really easy.
No,
And it
Moises.
has to do with one check, and basically it was Dolores, okay? I wrote a check for $324 or something like that. And basically Ruben brought this up, and it was for the year 2017. Okay, this check that was written, and there was actually, she gave the check to Herminio, and Herminio, it was a check that was made out for the amount or whatever, and Herminio never, he wrote the check, but he wrote it to, Chacon. And that was, the check for the $300 and some or whatever.
So
That's
let me,
what it
I'm
was.
not sure
And
that,
was-
that's germane on this.
so let me just,
Well,
let me
but-
clarify if I can, you were suggesting that Dolores misspent association monies.
I'm suggesting and I'm letting the membership that you were involved in the process of expending
Yeah, no, no.
$1,000 without membership approval that have legal standing, Horacio.
So you're,
That, hold on, the stipulation that we got into it with the attorneys and the mediator clearly stated that you must have legal standing. I haven't seen the legal paper of you.
okay, let me just clarify. You were stating to the members, you're stating to the members that Dolores misspent money. And
Well,
that I misspent
you were
money.
involved, you were instrumental and involved in the expenses that were never approved by the membership.
Are you suggesting,
Okay?
are you
I
suggesting?
already told you that, Horacio.
Okay,
Are you
I already
suggesting
told you
that-
that.
I'm
are
gonna
you
stop you
suggesting I
guys
misspent money?
right now. I think he's clarified that he did suggest you misspent money, okay?
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
I would like
If you
to-
guys only saw
One
the
moment.
2015, 16, 17, the review that I've done,
We're
it's
going
gonna
to
blow
get
your
there.
mind.
Can you
But
send them
I-
on, can you,
That is gonna be, and that is gonna be, and that is
I
gonna be
understand, but I'm
online
gonna
so
try to
that
get him back
everybody
on
can
track.
review this, okay? So,
There's a different financial matter. I'd like to get back to, Herminio's explanation, which I have asked for, and he's, giving us right now. So, if I could, for the purpose of clarification, are you suggesting that you have, entered your entry of appearance and will be stepping down as
Of
soon
course.
as we get a
Once we get a solid
legal
foundation,
counsel,
Norbert.
a legal counsel to represent the association?
Exactly. What-
I just
That's
want,
the intent of.
yeah, because I wanna make sure the membership understands
And I'm okay
that
with
we
that.
did not do this, and we are in the process. If we could've gotten through the meeting, I can jump ahead to it and read it, and if anybody has, I've got a copy saying
so
that.
if that's your big, if that's
Essentially, at the end of this, what we were gonna do was present a list of attorneys that we are considering for, the management of the declaratory
For the
judgment
end of
process.
meeting.
Norbert, point.
I should also say that the reason that I actually agreed to the settlement was to stop the expenses that were occurring at the time and to allow us to move forward with the declaratory judgment process. So it really, I mean, I hate to see it devolve to this. I want to see us move forward. I would like to see a meeting happen, and if we could all agree on an agenda at some point, it would help us move forward in the declaratory judgment process, which is my goal here. So,
Is it possible to have a membership meeting to get that taken care of? This
that is
dispute?
happening in June.
No, can it be happen earlier, so that we can
No,
move
because a
earlier?
lot of people made plans. We've already talked about this, and there is going to be,
Is that-
just so
that's
you
a-
understand, Joe, I'd like to,
Well,
go ahead and
yes,
answer your
but
question.
Let me just say
But
that,
People that
yes,
do
but if
not
you
Let
give
attend
them
him
that
time
finish,
now-
please.
people that do not attend that meeting, Joe, because they already had plans in June and did not get to the earlier meeting that we scheduled, are going to hold it over our heads. Let's do this right, okay? Let's do it in June. Everybody nobody has a reason not to be there, okay? If you don't make
no
the
one has a
time,
reason not to be there early either.
yes, they do.
Some may, but some
Some
may
have
not.
made plans. Well,
So,
I'm just saying that that's
Okay.
an
so I have a
option.
question for Herminio, just Herminio, if we decide that we're gonna decide that we're gonna have an attorney for the declaratory judgment, can we continue with this meeting? Is that what your main concern is right now? Or besides just that one,
It's a
it
very-
seems to be
What would you
the
like to
most
ask?
serious right now. What other concerns do you have?
What do you-
Because so that we can
what needs to be
move,
done?
as far, we have all these people that just come out, you know, just, we need to have a meeting, we need to move forward. Because if you're obstructing or whatever,
Just a
you know,
moment.
just-
I've
we
got-
can't seem to
I've got
go
2 more board
anywhere.
members
We
needing to
can't
come.
seem to go anywhere with this whole thing.
That's right.
okay, one moment, Horacio's next.
So I'm gonna address the membership on behalf of the board. We actually spoke with our general counsel. Norbert and I spoke with our general counsel about Jack McCarthy's withdrawal. Emilio's statements are false. If we do not appoint an attorney within 20 days, we do not go into receivership. That is a complete falsehood. If we do not appoint an attorney within 20 days, the association cannot move forward with the process until we appoint an attorney, which we are in the process of doing. If we needed to respond to any issues that are brought up regarding the declaratory judgment process, our general counsel, Jeremy Jones, would be able to represent us in it. There is no need to enter a personal entry of appearance.
Yes.
A personal entry, and let me make clear here, that Emilio wants to state that all actions have to be approved by the consensus of the board, and he is preventing a meeting from occurring. And yet he has single-handedly, without notifying any other board members, appointed himself or attempted to appoint himself as attorney for the association. This is in complete violation of the settlement agreement, and it goes beyond the settlement agreement. This is him misrepresenting his authority to the court, which could be considered perjury because he is representing his authority to the court. He has no authority to represent he has no standing to represent his authority on behalf of the association. Secondly, if Emilio understood the law, which we understand because we talked with a lawyer, an individual who is not an attorney cannot represent the corporation.
Yes.
By presenting himself as representing the association, he is misrepresenting himself as an attorney. In the role of an attorney, he is actually violating the law in several respects by taking this action, in addition to violating the settlement agreement and the principles of good governance. This is not an action that he took on behalf of the association. If he had any concern regarding this, he could have brought it to the attention of Norbert. He could have brought it attention to the board. He could have said, hey, I have concern as to whether or not we have to do this. He did not do that. In fact, in the filing that he presented to the court, he did not even send copy to the attorney representing the association. He did not send copy to Jack McCarthy, who is still our attorney is still responsible for handling this until the 20 days have expired. So there's an obvious intentional effort here to do this without the awareness of the association and without the awareness of the board. If there were any concern, it should have been raised to the board, not action being taken on his own.
Okay. First of all, Horacio, obviously you don't know, you tend to mislead the membership. We've gone through this over and over and over again. I'm gonna, one of the things did you get all the documentations for